帮我们带来的那个演讲，那我们欢迎他这样子。
All right, 你好. Sorry for the trouble. Today I'm going to talk about my relatively new software to manage CPAN dependency. And first of all, just a little bit about myself. My name is Tatsuhiko Miyagawa. My account is Miyagawa on GitHub and Twitter. I live in San Francisco in the USA for 6 years now. This is my, fifth or sixth visit to Osdc, Taiwan, and I love this conference. I'm Miyagawa on CPAN, and I recently just started contributing to Ruby as well. The reason why is that I started working for this company called CookPad. It's a sponsor for this conference. There's a booth on the hallway, and there's really cool chopsticks and a really nice bag that you can claim if you haven't. So just come by to our booth after this talk. So let's get to the topic. Today I'm talking about managing CPAN dependencies, CPAN modules in your application. Let's give it some case study with a really simple web application development that uses CPAN stuff. So you're writing a new application, and you probably don't want to reinvent wheels and want to use as many CPAN modules as possible because there's a lot of good modules, good tested distributions, useful modules on CPAN. So you want to use as much as you want. So that's fine. So what you want to do is to get them from CPAN and install on your development machine, maybe on your laptop, maybe on your shared machine. So maybe use tools like CPAN or CPAN- to install these modules that will pull dependencies as well, like when you install a web framework or something like that, or you install LLP and plug JSON modules, MIME modules, the modules that you need, your application needs. And you test it on your machine, commit to your repository, and it works. So you want to ship it to the production environment. Get the production server or some EC2 or something, and then install these dependency modules on the production machine, maybe with a root account or something. That's a really simple deployment strategy, and that works fine. But a few weeks later, your website gets really popular. So you might need more web servers. Get a new machine and install the modules from CPAN. It has to be okay, but turns out one of your web framework has been updated to 1.4 from 1.2, and the author decided to duplicate a lot of APIs, and your application doesn't work anymore. So you have to revert the version to 1.2. Before doing that, you have to log into your machine or the web server and then check the version of the framework, and then install them on the new server. And it turns out that the author has deleted the file, so you have to go to Backpan to find the old version of the archive. But it turns out the 1.2 version doesn't work with the other module has been also updated, so it doesn't work. There's a conflict and it doesn't work. So that's like a moment like this. So basically, upgrading CPAN modules broke my app. So what was wrong? What was meant to be done better than this? You should have declared the dependency and manage these changes instead of just randomly installing module to your system Perl. It'll be better to have isolated Perl library environments instead of installing into system Perl or shared Perl paths. You better control these changes. The changes to your dependencies are part of the history of your application, and that includes all the dependencies, the tree and the chain of dependencies, not only the direct dependencies. That way, your simple strategy cannot repeat deployments. It depends on the status of the CPAN. If I can make a release today, and then maybe tomorrow someone uploads a new version with a bug in it, or that could always happen, and it's so you have to make your deployments repeatable. So these are all the problems that you could have done better, but the simple just grab the latest from CPAN just doesn't work in this situation. And there are many existing solutions to this problem, like my CPAN and DPAN, CPAN Mini, and Shipwright. And none of those didn't quite work for me. I haven't even tried anything yet. It just feels not the straightforward things to me. I mean, some of the things are just too simple. Some of the things are really heavyweight, over spec. Just wanted to do something in the middle. So I just wrote a new one, and that's called Carton. It's going to talk about today. And I think this one is pretty heavily inspired by a bundler. I think I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Ruby and bundler, because there's in the other room they're talking about this software right now. So you might be in the other room if you do. So this is a tool to manage the dependencies, just exactly what I was talking about, but it's for Ruby. So I just copied it to Perl, just like I did with the CPAN minus and FLAC and PSCI and all the stuff. So what does Carton do? It does application specific. It creates a local environment per application. And so it doesn't share modules with your system Perl. It's a safe, new, separate environment. And it does fast and safe install, all those things I'm going to talk about. Okay, so as I say, local Perl environment. It uses the local lib module on the CPAN module. And CPAN minus has this option called -L, which means local lib self-contained. Each application, you may have like 1 or 2 or maybe 10 applications on your laptop or development machine and only have one Perl installation. You can have different versions of Perl. Each application has its own separate library paths. So you can have different versions of Moose, for example, in your Moose 2.1 with your application A, and application B can have like 1.8 or something like that because it's older than A. That's possible. And it uses CPAN-M, and it skips test by default, so it's faster, which is good. And the 1.5 has a new feature to save the installation time information into the include path. It might not make sense to you, but when you install the module from CPAN, it runs the Perl makefile PL, build PL to analyze your system and figure out the dependencies dynamically, sometimes dynamically, and the existing tools, CPAN and CPAN Plus, just throw away this information. But CPAN minus starts to install these meta files into the library path, so that later you can see why is this module installed or what this module wanted to require at the installation time. That kind of information is saved in the path, which is very useful. And Carton provides you to be able to analyze the tree information that I'm going to show you later. And of course, you can lock the versions. You can save these information into a Git repository if you want. It creates just one file, one new file called carton.lock. You can add it to the Git repository, and then you can track the history and revert to previous version if you want. And using that file, you can deploy the exact same version, not depending on the CPAN status. If someone uploads the buggy version after right before you deploy to the production, that's okay. That doesn't break your code. You always deploy the same version that you installed in the development. And because it's managed by Git or whatever version control tool that you want to use, you can easily and safely roll back to the version that you are sure that it works. So how do you declare CPAN dependencies? It used to be so if you have made a CPAN distribution, it has to contain either a makefile PL or build PL. It's a Perl script to declare dependencies in your code using like a makemaker or a module build. It's fine for CPAN distributions, but it's often not the best tool to declare dependency on your application. So I just create a new format called CPAN file. It's just a copy of gem file from Ruby. But it has some flavors for Perl. Its syntax is compatible to module install. So if you have ever used module installed in the past, there's nothing new to learn. It's the same syntax. With a little bit, it's basically, it's not backward compatible, but all the module install commands are available in the CPAN file. But you can do more if you want. CPAN file is one-to-one, directly one-to-one mapped to CPAN meta. So CPAN meta is a new specification to declare those meta information. So that's the good stuff. This is the example of CPAN file. The first line is that requires FLAC 0.99. So this means your application needs FLAC 0.99 or later. And the second line is specify the development requirement, a recommendation. So it doesn't require, it's not required if you run on the production machine, for example. This is about the development time dependency. And third one is a test required. So it's only required when you want to run tests with like make test or prove command. The fourth one is kind of interesting that you can specify the range of the version. In this example, your application requires an NYT prof larger than or equals to 3.2, but not greater than 5. It's actually not. This is just a declaration. CPAN file supports declaration. Actually, CPAN minus or Carton doesn't detect these conflicts yet. I'm been working on this, and it's gonna be available pretty soon. But you can still declare it today. It's not really supported by the tools, but it's gonna be compatible with over time. And the last one is similar, but you can just say conflicts. If your system has a MOOS-X declare smaller than 0.99, it is a conflict, which means you have to upgrade larger than 1.0 or just uninstall the modules. This is the declaring conflicts. Again, this is not supported by the tool, but the syntax is available. So over time, the tools will support this, and you can detect these conflicts. All right. Maybe I already told you why, but why we needed formats like this. Your applications are not meant to be deployed to released to CPAN, and if you just want to put the scripts on GitHub and want someone to use it, you don't want to write a makefile, and by hand. It's kind of painful, and especially when you want to release these applications to like platform as a service like Heroku or the cloud. The makefile PL is kind of painful to write. So I'm gonna show you some demo. I have still like 15 minutes or something. So, all right. I'm gonna show you some really simple projects. Wanna use Dancer because Dancer is a framework and it has a really lightweight dependency. It could be anything, but it creates a new project, git init, and edit the file. So what you're gonna do is to declare dependency, and Dancer actually creates a makefile PL for you, but all you need is this prereq PM, the prerequisite of your application. So this open the CPAN file and just copy these 3 lines of code, and requires. This actually only requires in a test, so because test more requires YAML, requires Dancer. That's done. And what you're going to do is install Carton install. let me see. There's a magic to make it faster. It's kind of slow. With right. So how surprising it's faster than normal CPAN tools, because it doesn't run tests. It's really fast because it copies from a local mirror and it doesn't run tests. It's not useful. I think Dancer has like 24 distributions. Yeah, that's, well, you can see either on the right and left. Right, 24 distributions installed. You can see a list of the modules with the Carton list and Carton tree with the tree structure to see what modules were installed. And when you run the module, you use the Carton exec command with the Perl bin app pl port 5000. This is to make sure the not to load the modules from your system Perl, the isolated environment, to make sure that this is it's repeatable. And when you open the browser, localhost 5000. So it's working. And so let's say you want to use the other tools like Plaque. Usually, if you have a system and a Plaque in your system, you can say Plaque app pl, because Dancer supports PSCI, so it runs fine. But because Plaque is not in CPAN file yet, and when you see Carton list and grep Plaque, it's not there. So what's going to happen is if you do Carton exec Plaque app bin app pl, it will die because Plaque module is not in your isolated environment. It's in your system, but it's not in your Perl application environment. So what you're going to do is edit the CPAN file again. Requires Plaque 1.99, and then run Carton install. It will upgrade all the required modules to run Plaque. Yep, it's done. 12 new distributions installed for Plaque. And when you run tree command, it says YAML and Dancer and Plaque here. And now you can exec Plaque up, and it runs fine. It's the same application, so there's no difference, but you get the idea. So let's commit this change. Git add loc file and CPAN file. Don't include local to your repository because it's local specific environment. It's not meant to be committed. So commit Carton. So when I clone this repository to other directly, like Osdc2, it doesn't have local stuff in it yet. So when I say like exec, it's not there because this is a new clone, so it doesn't have that module. What you're going to do is just call Carton install, because it has a CPAN file. It builds the exact same module from CPAN, and not the latest one. This exact same version that you specified in the other repository. Right, almost there. Yep, so it's there. List, and you get the same stuff, and exec, and it runs fine on a new checkout. So you can share these specific versions of modules between the developers and the deployment environment. There's also a command called Carton bundle. I think it's not complete yet. We just started implementing this, but it's basically bundle all the modules, fetch them from CPAN, I think. It will take a yes. There you go. And you see a local cache. There's authors directly. I can think find command. All the tables. Yeah, just look at the different screen. Tables are copied from CPAN, so you can deploy this to production environment if you don't want production environment to access CPAN under installation time. It's much safer, and it could be faster if you have like 100 of deployment environment. Maybe you want to build on one machine and then copy the build anyway. It's not going to be a problem, but it could be a better solution in some cases. That's basically it. Yeah, check. Right. So you can start using it from CPAN minus today. The latest version is still in the development. You might have to check out from Git. It's a better feature. Some of the features are not complete. It's kind of may be broken. I know some companies actually use it in production, and they say it's working fine. So it's somewhat stable. I think I haven't used it myself, but yeah, one of the friends at the BBC has told me that they try to use this for production, but they have like 300 or 400 dependencies in total, with like call list and moose and everything, and Carton install like takes like half an hour to build a tree, and which is I'm trying to improve. I've been trying to get it done yesterday, but it's over time, so maybe I'm gonna do it tonight and tomorrow. Basically, there's no way to update one specific or specific module in the tree. What you have to do is just scratch the log file and then install the latest, which is not really convenient actually. So this is one of the most prioritized feature, that you have to be able to update specific modules, not the old modules. And again, make an install and bundle faster. It often takes like 10 seconds, which is okay, but 10 minutes, 30 minutes, that's not acceptable. And I wanted to be able to inject the old versions, not the latest version. It's kind of difficult with how CPAN works, but it's possible. So I wanted to do that. And also the patched version, you might have a private patch version of module in your company's Git repository. I wanted to install it from there. We're using the GitHub fork account or something like that. That's going to be useful. So all the development of Carton is happening on github.com/miyagawa/Carton, and there's an RC channel on rc.pro.org. This is on GitHub. So I have 5 minutes. Any questions? There you go. I don't speak Chinese, so anyone, if you wanna ask in Chinese, someone needs to translate it for me. But well, yes.
Do you like cooking?
Yes, I do. Thanks for asking. Yeah, my wife does cooking almost every day using the cookpad, and I often do on the weekend for lunch and sometimes dinner too. Yes. Do you like cooking?
Not really, so I can't work for you.
Well, you don't need to be a chef to work for a cookpad. But cookpad office in Tokyo a really nice kitchen, and there's all the ingredients available in a big refrigerator. So, and it's free. So, if you wanted to, it's available. Any questions about cooking or Carton? Right. Yeah. If you wanna ask some detailed question, you can talk to me, and you can come to the booth at Cookpad. There's a hallway. There's a bag and chopsticks, and we are hiring. So if you're interested, talk to me. The slide, I will upload the slides to Speaker Deck, and I will post a link on my Twitter account. So anyway, so just follow me on Twitter. That's it. Shay Shay.
好，那让我们谢谢那个miyagawa桑为我们带来精彩演讲啊。那接下来休息时间有20分钟，那下一个议程在10:30开始。对，那请大家就是外面有餐点，大家可以去用。